in the ancient land of India, where the sacred Ganges wove through endless fields of gold and forests whispered secrets as old as the gods, there stood a solitary ashram beside a tranquil lotus pond. The ashram, hidden away from the chaos of kingdoms, was the home of Rishi Aravindan, a sage known not for rituals or chants, but for his power to illuminate the darkened corners of the human spirit. Among his followers was Sundari, a woman whose beauty was spoken of in hushed reverence across far-off kingdoms. Born into royalty, her life was gilded yet cold, a golden cage shaped by promises she had never made, bound to a prince she had never met. Her heart rebelled against this fate. Seeking more than the opulent emptiness of palace halls, she sought out the wisdom of the sage whose words were said to burn through illusion. Sundari arrived at the ashram, hoping to find clarity. Yet, as days stretched into weeks, something unexpected grew within her. It was not just the sage's teachings that ensnared her mind. It was Aravindan himself. His serenity was intoxicating, his eyes penetrating as if he could see beyond her flesh, into the depths of her soul. He stirred something primal, something dangerous, desire. Her inner turmoil mounted day by day, each glance, each word they exchanged feeding a fire within her she could no longer deny. One evening, after a discourse on the nature of reality, Sundari lingered as the others drifted away. She felt the pull stronger than ever. She approached Aravindan and asked him in a trembling voice,
Guruji, you speak of desires as bindings, but what if they feel more real than any truth? What if they consume us entirely? How can we break free when they hold such power over us?
Aravindan regarded her calmly, his gaze steady, untouched by the shadows playing in her heart. He said,
Desires are like mirages in a desert. They glitter before us, promising fulfillment, but they vanish the moment we reach for them, leaving us thirstier than before.
His words struck her like a wave, but instead of extinguishing the fire, they seemed to feed it. As he spoke of desires as illusions, all she could think of was the growing hunger inside her, a hunger for him. That night, as the moon bathed the ashram in its cool silver light, Sundari could bear it no longer. Her heart, swollen with yearning, drowned out the voice of reason. She adorned herself in a simple yet elegant sari, the fabric clinging to her skin as she made her way through the night to Aravindan's hut. The stillness of the night was almost oppressive, as if the world itself held its breath for what was to come. The soft rustling of leaves, the distant hum of crickets, and the soft scent of jasmine filled the air, heightening her senses. Without hesitation, she stepped into his dwelling. Aravindan sat cross-legged in meditation, the faint glow of an oil lamp casting flickering shadows across his face. His eyes opened, piercing through the dark as if he'd been expecting her. He said,
Sundari, what brings you here at this hour?
Her breath caught in her throat and, for a moment, she faltered, but the force of her desire pushed her forward.
Guruji,
she whispered, her voice trembling.
I can no longer hide what I feel. There is something between us, something deeper than words. I love you.
Her confession hung in the air, thick with tension. Silence stretched on, and then Aravindan spoke, his voice as steady as ever.
Tell me, Sundari, what is it that you love?
She blinked, confused.
I love you. Your wisdom, your serenity, the way you see into me like no one else ever has. The way you make me feel understood, alive.
Aravindan rose slowly, his movements graceful, deliberate.
Come,
he said, beckoning her outside. She followed, her heart racing, her body trembling with anticipation. They walked to the lotus pond, the water still and black under the moon's light, its surface scattered with glowing blossoms. Aravindan gestured toward the pond.
Look into the water, Sundari. What do you see?
She peered into the dark depths.
I see the moon,
she said softly.
And the stars, and my own reflection.
Now,
he said.
Touch the water.
Hesitant, she dipped her fingers into the pond. Ripples spread out, distorting the reflection of the moon and stars, shattering her image.
What do you see now?
She frowned.
The reflections are broken. Unclear.
Aravindan turned to her, his eyes dark and unreadable.
Our desires are like those ripples, Sundari. They disturb the clarity of our perception. You believe you love me, but what you love is the reflection of your own longing, an illusion cast upon me. What you seek lies not in me, but within yourself.
Her breath hitched.
No!
She protested.
My feelings are real. They burn inside me. How can they be just illusions?
He knelt beside the water, his hand resting on the ground.
The image of the moon on the water. Does it make the moon any less real? Or is it merely a distortion of the true source, unreachable in the sky?
Sundari's heart raced as understanding dawned upon her.
So, I am not truly in love with you. I am in love with what I think you can give me.
Aravindan nodded.
You have mistaken the reflection for the source. The love and peace you seek cannot be found in another. They are already within you. I am only a mirror reflecting back your own desires.
A sense of loss washed over her, followed by the sharp sting of realization.
I've been chasing shadows, believing they were light.
Yes,
He said gently.
and now you see the truth. The peace you seek, the love you crave. They are not outside of you. They are waiting to be discovered deep within. No one else can complete what is already whole.
For a moment, the air between them hung heavy with unspoken words. Sundari looked up at the moon, its light cold and distant. She had been reaching for something that was never real, chasing the reflection while the true light remained within herself.
Thank you, Guruji.
She whispered, her voice thick with emotion.
You have shown me a truth I was too blind to see.
Aravindan smiled softly.
Remember, Sundari, the moon's beauty remains, even when distorted by the ripples. Likewise, your love is not diminished by where it is directed, but grows as you understand its true source. Your journey has just begun.